What brought me to Focus was I knew that I wanted to be, I knew that I wanted to find an internship in the ministry, and I felt like Focus was it's a global international ministry. And I just thought it would be cool to work for a ministry that big and really get to see the behind the scenes of what happens, because I feel like a lot of times we see the product of a ministry, what they've put out or distributed, but we don't see what goes into it. And I felt like Focus was the greatest place to learn how to do that. I am currently working in human resources, the best department, and I am technically internal relations. So I'm in charge of the intern bonding. So all the different interns that are in all the different departments, I'm in charge of coordinating all of our activities and our small groups and our Bible studies and devotionals and any of the activities that we do outside of Focus. The best experience we had outside of work was actually the worst experience outside of work. We went on a rafting trip, and a lot of different things happened, and it was kind of like when it rains it pours, and everything went wrong that could have possibly gone wrong. But it was really incredible, and it was really kind of cool to work in different crisis situations. I feel like people's true colors come out, and you really learn a lot about yourself and also how you interact with a group, which was an incredible learning experience for me, especially with my job description of kind of overseeing the bonding of this big group. And so I learned a lot about myself and how I handle things well and how I handle things poorly, and I also learned a lot about other people, and I feel like it really kind of bonded us together. I really was not nervous because the people that I'm living with, we were actually good friends from home a while ago, which was kind of a small world how that works out, but it has been the most incredible experience living with them and kind of seeing how other families work. I just feel like they are the most incredible representation of what a marriage should look like, what a family should look like. I mean, everything they do, they're so excited about everything. They want to know about my day, they want to know about each other's days. They're playful, they're fun, they're each other's best friends, and they just make me feel so included and so involved and so loved. And it's just really encouraging to see a marriage like that, where they really, really get it, and Christ is really truly in the center of their relationship, and it just infects everything else. I just couldn't be happier. Not at all. My major is advertising. I'm actually double majoring in advertising and English, and I'm working in human resources, which I guess in a way it does relate, because in human resources you're kind of advertising a person or selling a person or a staff member or employee. But I just really wanted to be in a department where I would be able to see all the different departments and not just one set thing. And I think that's the one thing that I've really gained from this summer, is just a huge overall insight about what this ministry does, because I'm constantly popping into different people's cubicles or different departments, and I'm really getting to learn what other people are doing, what other people are up to, and it's really opened my eyes to all the different opportunities there are within the ministry. I think that the number one thing I'll take away from this summer as far as spiritual knowledge is just learning how to find Christ in the everyday. You know, you're working an 8 to 5 job, and then you're super busy at night doing whatever it is, and you get to bed late, and then you wake up really early, and you know, where does Christ fit into that? How are you making time for him? Where are you finding him in the everyday? And I think that's something that my supervisor does a really great job of, and everyone here does a really great job of, just reminding you that, you know, loving God is not just always this just awesome feeling, or going to church and having an awesome worship experience. It's learning how to live with Christ every day, in the day by day. And you know, he says he wants to be a part of our everyday. He wants to be sitting with me in my cubicle. He wants to be with me in a really boring meeting, and just learning how to find him in that, because ultimately it's on you. And I feel like I didn't really understand that, but to be spiritually mature, you have to know how to have Christ every day, not just when it's easy or when you're at church or whatever else. So I think that's the number one thing I'll take away. No, I have never experienced anything like that in my entire life, and I don't think I ever will ever again. I'm from Georgia. It's a lot of humidity. We don't do fire really. So, and I've also never really been in the middle of such an enormous citywide disaster. And so, no, I have never experienced anything like that. That fire, I think, was the one thing that taught me the most this summer. It was actually crazy. We could see, we were standing in the window in the office at Focus on the Family, and we literally watched the fire peak the mountain and come over the side of the mountain down towards the neighborhoods. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I have never been so aware of the sheer power of the Lord, and so it was really convicting. It was really scary, but it was really cool to see this other side of God that is power and that is strength and that is more than just the lovey-dovey God that we like to think about in the Bible, that there's so many facets to him, and it was so encouraging, and it was just incredibly encouraging to see this community come together and really bond together. Through the activities we actually got to do was go to some of the homes that were lost because of the fire and sift through the ashes to try and find things that could be left over, which was incredibly sad, but also incredibly encouraging to know that, you know, this world is fleeting, but the hope of Christ that's in us is not. And the woman whose house that we actually got to sift through, we found a couple items and they really were not that salvageable, but every little thing meant something to her. And she was so grateful to have us there. And I think that just this love and this camaraderie that happens through crisis like this, it's incredible. It's just been incredibly encouraging. Overall, it's just been an incredibly amazing experience. It has far exceeded my expectations. I've been challenged in way more ways than I thought I was going to. I've been tested, I've been stretched, but I've also been so poured into and so cherished and valued. And so it's just been an incredible experience. I will never forget.